Go.
Several protests, rallies, and other events have taken place in Kenosha since then. The White House says the president will be visiting with law enforcement and surveying damage. There are no plans for him to meet with Blake's family. A lot of people probably don't even notice them, but there are 8 surveillance cameras watching you in downtown Fargo. And City Commissioner Tony Gehring wants to get rid of them.
The 8 high-resolution cameras are attached to posts along Broadway, and they have been in place for 8 years. Gehring believes those cameras invade your privacy, and he says he'll talk to the new police chief about removing them. Interim Police Chief Ross Renner says the cameras, they have been useful in solving crimes. Emotions, they're running high in Grand Forks as city council members talk about a possible citywide face mask mandate. Now, this is on top of policy already requiring city staff to wear a mask in common areas and adding restrictions to bars and restaurants, forcing them to close at 11 o'clock each night.
After seeing a dramatic increase of cases and having the highest active case count in the state, council members are saying more needs to be done. City leaders decided to look into an educational system for the area to keep people informed about what health officials recommend for best practices surrounding COVID-19.
It's a tough time because as policymakers, you're forced to set policy without all the information. And you know, we're not all doctors, we're not all public health experts, but we got to engage those people. And hopefully that's what will be happening over the next week.
No policies were decided last night, but conversations about potential protocols will continue on Monday.
9 more Greek chapters at the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks have had at least one member test positive for COVID-19. Earlier this month, 6 Greek chapters at UND had at least one person test positive.
Now, 15 of the 20 chapters have now at least one person who has COVID-19. The university is working with groups to help those members who are quarantined. Now, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers. In North Dakota, there are 114 new cases and 1 new death. The positivity rate is now at 5.94%. There are 2,378 active cases with 143 deaths in the state.
In Minnesota, the Department of Health is reporting 679 confirmed cases and 1 new death linked to the illness. 67,656 people have recovered. In total, more than 1,800 deaths have been attributed to that disease. Health officials are adding more times for COVID-19 testing in Grand Forks. These are walk-up events. The first one today, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The second one was added for this Friday from 9 to 2. It's open for everyone ages 5 and up.
And starting on Friday, certain groups of people will be able to get a free COVID test in Fargo. Testing will be available on Fridays for those who fall into these categories. People with a confirmed or potential exposure to a positive case. Healthcare workers providing direct care, those who work in places where it's difficult to stay 6 feet away from people, and people who need to be tested for essential travel. The testing site will be at Rowe Farm from 8 to 4.
8 minutes before the top of the hour, let's check our cool forecast this morning and see just when we need to break out that extra hold hairspray. Good morning, Lisa.
Well, you're going to want it today, and maybe as soon as this morning, as we've got some strong winds taking over. And we had such a gorgeous sunrise, but now the cloud deck is blocking that view of our sun. A great start to the day. I'll be showing a time lapse of that on our social media pages this morning, but it's been a nice start, a pretty one here. But yes, cool. I mean, temperatures are in the 40s across a good portion of the Northern Valley. We're at 44 in Baudette. We're at 45 in Langdon, 49 in Grand Forks, and Southern Valley, a little milder. We're seeing some 50s to even 60 in Jamestown and down in Sisseton. Fargo's at 58 degrees. So the wind is going to be an issue. Right now, it's not bad, but you might want to be proactive on that hairspray this morning because it will start picking up over the next couple of hours. And we're watching that wind become more southwesterly as we advance through the morning as well. Here's a look at our advisory for today. A wind advisory takes effect at noon and lasts until 8 o'clock. Most of us in eastern North Dakota included in this. Jamestown, Devils Lake, Grand Forks, Fargo, and everywhere in between and west of there included in the advisory, though that doesn't mean that you won't have wind elsewhere too. We're all going to be on a breezy note here today, especially in those open areas. So things are pretty quiet for us in the valley radar-wise, and we'll see that that chance for rain increase as we head into the evening hours tonight for the Northern Valley, along the Canadian border especially. But for the daytime hours, we're staying dry. Here's a look at your bus stop forecast. We're going to see temperatures this morning, again, more into the 50s as you're sending the kids out to the bus. But this afternoon, we're going to warm up. We're going to see a lot of places hit 70 degrees or more. Southern Valley, more likely into the upper 70s, and mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. And that wind, we're looking at those gusts yet again, getting into the mid 40s for today. So it's going to be a breezy one for the kids heading home. And for you heading home from work too, you're going to have to hold on to that steering wheel here. That wind does take a little break tonight, but we remain breezy through Wednesday, warming to 80. We get a shot of cold air behind that next round of rain. And then heading into the holiday weekend, a slight chance for a few storms Saturday and much cooler weather taking over for the second half of the holiday weekend.
I know, 60s for highs, 30s for lows. Ooh, a big change here in September. Prosecutors have filed a series of charges, including attempted murder, against a 19-year-old North Dakota man who's accused of assaulting a woman and attacking a state trooper. Court records say when the trooper responded to a call for help at a home in Velva in western North Dakota, Charles Rill was arguing with the victim.
When the officer tried to break it up, Rill is accused of tackling the officer to the ground, punching the trooper multiple times, wrestling his baton away, and then hitting him in the head with it. Police say that Rill also tried to grab the trooper's gun. Rill is now in jail in Rugby on $500,000 bond. Here's something that we don't hear about often. A 45-year-old man is now facing drunk driving charges after police say he totaled this combine in northwestern North Dakota. Take a look there. Michael Carr of Seattle was arrested yesterday when he rolled that large piece of farm machinery near Berthold.
Police say the combine has extensive damage. Carr was busted for DUI and driving with a revoked driver's license. Combines, as many of you know, are one of the most expensive pieces of farm equipment. New ones can cost up to $500,000. Students going into the 6th through 9th grades at Heritage Middle School in West Fargo are getting a sneak peek at their new building. Each grade has an individual technology pod where students can get hands-on learning using technology while staying safe and practicing social distancing.
Students can work on one-on-one using iPads that can be streamed, and they also have rolling TVs and flexible furniture that can be easily rearranged to meet classroom and safety standards.
We're really fortunate in the sense that when you look at our classrooms and we have our standing height tables and our regular height tables, it allows for spacing so that we're maintaining the 6 feet social distancing with our students in the classroom.
Now, students with the last names beginning with the letters L through Z will be returning to school this Thursday. Kids with the last name A through K, they'll head back to school on September 8th.
With high school football in full swing in North Dakota, it's a different case on the other side of the river. Minnesota schools have decided to hold off on football until spring. But one thing school leaders on both sides agree on: making athlete safety the #1 goal this season.
Both Moorhead and Fargo schools say spectators are required to wear a mask at indoor sports, and they also must wear one outdoors unless you're able to socially distance at 6 feet apart. They also say to limit the amount of spectators that both districts have. They say a player will get between 2 and 4 vouchers to then pass along to their family and friends. And for those who can't go to the games, officials say most of them will be live streamed.
Students are gearing up for a new school year. Tomorrow for Fargo, some West Fargo students on Thursday. But not all families are fully ready for the hybrid model. That means they do need internet or even Wi-Fi access for their kids to complete their assignments at home. But that's where the Fargo Public Library can help.
And the Valley Today's Brian Sherrod is explaining everything that you can get from the library. And remember, it's all for free. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Jordan and Lisa. Like you guys said, with school starting for both of those schools over the next 2 days, a Fargo Public Library card will be the perfect thing to get. And when it comes to the benefits, like you just said as well, it is the online and digital resources that they can use if they don't have Wi-Fi or anything at home. Now, I'm at 1st Avenue and 3rd Street on downtown Fargo, and I'll let you know that's just 1 of 3 locations that you can get your library card. So let me literally tell you how easy it is to get it. It's simple. So you just have to be over the age of 16, for people who are over the age of 16. learning, you fill out an application form, show photo ID, and provide proof of their current address. Now, if you're under the age of 15, it's the exact same steps we just mentioned, but a parent or guardian must sign their application form. With the COVID pandemic still a hindrance, the library encourages students to get everything completed online on their City of Fargo Public Library website. Now, like we mentioned in the very beginning, it is free, pretty simple to sign up like we just mentioned. These library cards do last 3 years. They do last a pretty long time. And let me let you also know, if you lose your library card, it is super simple to get it back. Have your photo ID, pay $1. It is just that simple. With school starting over the next 2 days, today is a perfect day to definitely sign up and get one.
Great advice this morning. Brian Sherrod reporting live for us from the downtown Fargo Library. Thank you.
And there's a lot that's going to be different for these kids. I mean, some of them fully online learning, others have hybrid, so a place to maybe get their homework done if you're also just itching to get out of the house, because I'm sure a lot of kids are like, I'm bored here.
For sure. I've heard that a couple times. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. Parents say this phrase to their kids on average about 540 times during the school year.
The answer? You probably say it actually more than that, even not during the school year. It's hurry up, we got to get going. You're burning daylight.
I love the guess. Where are your shoes? That is also something with kids. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in the car and one of my children does not even have shoes on. How does that happen?
I don't know how children do it. They do the craziest stuff. But the Today Show in CBS This Morning, it's just about to start, but the Valley today, it rolls on. We'll have more live up-to-the-minute news and weather coming up for you right now on the Fargo CW.